Hi, friend. Welcome back. Welcome to day 5. I so enjoyed connecting. I'm loving hearing your questions. I'm loving hearing your experiences. And I just want to address something that might be bubbling up. A lot of people, we think, okay, well, I'm meditating now for 4 days. I should be enlightened, right? Like I should be able to vibrate and levitate around my room. But actually, it took a lifetime to build up this stress, and it's going to take a little bit to unwind it. And we have many more days to go, right? And each one of these trainings is going to build upon the previous day's training. And soon we're going to start combining all of these techniques on top of each other so that you can move through the entire M word. And then my hypothesis is that your experience is really going to go to the next level. So I encourage you to be gentle with yourself, be patient with yourself, and give yourself full permission to be exactly where you are right now. Okay, so yesterday we put our toe into the water of effortless silence, and I want to dive a little bit deeper into that. You might notice that I have some props here for today. Fancy. And I want to explain to you what the point is of that word. I gave you a word that we can use almost like a mantra. That word is going to be one. And rather than focusing on it or saying it or concentrating on it, which is actually going to start to give you headaches, I want you to innocently hear this thing like a little whisper of an echo. Now notice that I'm saying hearing it versus saying it, right? Because if you hear something, that requires less effort than saying something. And I actually want to do a little bubble diagram, which is going to illustrate the cycle of meditation and how this word is acting as an anchor to de-excite the nervous system, and then how the body will start to release stresses on the other side. So when we first sit down to meditate, we pick up this word, this thing that we're using almost like a mantra, right? And mantra is a Sanskrit word. Man means mind and tra means vehicle. So a mantra is a mind vehicle, and it's custom designed to get a little bit fainter and a little bit finer. And you might notice that your thoughts get sort of random or abstract, or maybe they're just songs or colors, and it'll get even fainter until finally it does its little magic trick and it just disappears. And then you're going to find yourself quite innocently, quite effortlessly in this space of no thought, no mantra. You're hanging out down here in the absolute, right? In your right brain. Now, within 30 to 45 seconds of starting this, your body's getting very deep rest, okay? Now, the body wants to thank you for this rest, and the way that it thanks you is by releasing some stresses. Okay, but you're hanging out down here in the absolute, getting this deep rest, then body starts throwing off some stresses, which means the body's going to launch into a bit of activity. And then the mind is going to correspond with activity, which is thoughts. So you're going to start having thoughts, but they're bubbling up from this unmanifest, from the absolute. And in the beginning, they're really faint and really quiet, and then they get a little bit more clear and a little bit more pronounced, and then maybe you're thinking about your ex-boyfriend, and then you're thinking about your taxes, and then you become aware of the fact that you're having a thought. You become aware of the fact that you're thinking something other than your little word. And then that's your cue to innocently, lightly, gently float back to the word. So this part up here, when you realize that you're off and then gently floating back, that's your only job in the effortless silence. Everything else, your body's going to handle for you. This is really about being a passenger in the experience and not trying to drive the ship. P.S. Are you impressed with my ability to write upside down? So the thing to take away from this is that this whole cycle is meditation. Okay, there's an inward stroke, which is the word taking the mind and body down. There's also an outward stroke, which is the body releasing stresses in the form of thoughts. Okay, so this is why thoughts are not the enemy of meditation, because these thoughts are actually an indicator that stress is leaving the body. These thoughts is actually where the healing happens. Okay, so instead of judging yourself as a failure, if you're, thinking about your third grade teacher, or if you're wondering what your dog's mantra would be if it had a mantra, then you're not a failure. You've just taken a little mental field trip. A-okay, that's your cue to float back to the word one. Really good. So let's dive into Effortless Silence Part 2, shall we? I'll give you a moment to settle in, find somewhere to sit, turn off the lights. If you can, it's nice to meditate in darkness versus brightness. So take a moment to get settled, and I'll put my props away. So go ahead and have a seat in the old favorite position, just back supported, head free. Close the eyes, and we'll take a few breaths just to settle in, just to calm down the mind and body. So we're inhaling through the nose for 2, and we're exhaling for 4. Inhaling for 2, and exhaling for 4. Letting your body get heavy, melting into the chair. Final time, inhaling for 2, letting your lungs expand in all directions, and then exhaling for 4, letting the body soften as you melt into your chair. Really good. And as you start to practice the effortless silence, I want you to notice if this word, if this mantra can almost start to float to you like a hot guy in a bar, right? Let them come to you instead of you aggressively going and picking it up. So just hearing it ever so gently in the background of your mind. Just one, one, one. Letting it get fainter and finer and even slip away. Knowing that you have it to come back to as an anchor. You might like to visualize almost riding the word down to the bottom of the ocean as if it is an anchor, letting your body get heavy, knowing that it's a-okay to fall into that sleepy feeling if it comes, and that you're allowed to have thoughts. That's just stress leaving the body. And we'll be here for a few minutes. Don't mind the time. I'll let you know when it's time to come out. gentle reminder to give yourself full permission to fall into whatever experience is happening for you. If the head is heavy, just let yourself fall into that. Even if you feel like you're falling asleep, chances are you're not sleeping, you're just falling into a deep relaxation state. So even if the head bobs, let it bob. You don't have to be a frozen statue, and thoughts are not the enemy. We're just taking it as it comes. And we want about 5 minutes here. So let's leave the eyes closed, but we'll let go of this word inside. Again, imagining that we're cutting the cord to an anchor and gently, effortlessly starting to float back up to the surface, back into the body, back into the room. Taking a moment to congratulate yourself on committing to this training and this practice, and for bravely facing the silence. Taking a nice deep inhale, breathing some life into your body, starting to move your hands, starting to move your feet, knowing that taking this moment to rest and relax is going to make you even more awake, even more refreshed on the other side. And in your own time, whenever you're ready, we can start to slowly, gently open the eyes. All right, your second effortless silence has happened. What did it feel like? Was your mind racing? Did it feel like you were falling asleep? Were you okay with the words slipping away? I want to hear about your experience, because gratitude is one of these words that we think we know what's up. We're like, yeah, sure, I give thanks, but there's actually a whole beautiful world behind it. So happy meditating, and I'll see you tomorrow.